All right, next up, proportions. Proportions are two ratios that are equivalent or equal. They can be used in many different situations like comparing sizes, cooking, calculating percentages, and more. In order for two ratios to be equivalent, the rates need to be the same. For example, Audrey walks 3 miles in 80 minutes. Then she will walk, then how far will she walk in 110 minutes if she walks at the same speed? So if she walks at the same speed, then her rate at the beginning and her rate for the second part of her journey will be the same. So the equivalent rates, the same rates, are important for you to be able to set up proportions. So a proportion, again, are two ratios that are equivalent. So if we do the proportion as miles over minutes, then our first one is 3 miles over 80 minutes. And that will be equal to her second one, where it's an unknown how far will she walk, X miles over 110 minutes. Now, how do we solve this proportion? One thing you can do is clear fractions. I'm not going to work with the lowest common denominator because it's not necessary. But if I multiply both sides by 80 minutes, that will reduce the left denominator, but it doesn't reduce the right denominator. It does reduce the minutes, that's nice. So I also need to multiply by a 100 on both sides. 110. I don't know why I said 100. Let's fix that. 110. And then that reduces the 110 off the right side. And we end up with 3 miles times 110 equals X miles times 80. We can now solve for X by just dividing by 80 on both sides. We get X equals. So, and it'll be X miles. We have 3 times 110 divided by 80. This gives us 4.125. Does it have any rounding information? It does not, so we don't round this problem. 4.125, and again, X is miles. That's how far she will walk if she continues at the same pace that she did in the previous part of her walk. Okay, this is just clearing fractions by multiplying by a common denominator, the 80 and the 110. It's not the lowest common denominator. I believe 880 would be the LCD, but it's not necessary. And there's also a shortcut tool that gives you the same result, and that is called cross multiplication. This only works when there's one fraction on the left equals one fraction on the right. If there's a plus another fraction, this is not a shortcut, this is a mistake. Don't use shortcuts you don't understand. If we did this shortcut, cross multiplication, it gives us the 3 miles times the 110 minutes. There they are, although I reduced the minutes, equals, and then the X miles and the 80 minutes. So it gives us the same results. It's just a quick way to get to that result. It's a shortcut. Make sure you know that it's equivalent to just clearing the fractions by multiplying by the common denominator made up of the product of the two denominators. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and work out 29 and 30. For number 29, you should get 64 calories. For number 30, you should get 1/2 of a cup of sugar.